Did you notice Caitlin Clark, the photographer, right on the baseline?
Photographer?
No, Caitlin Clark, the NBA
player. Yeah, sorry, I didn't see.
You didn't see?
She was taking a picture.
Yeah, she took a picture of you after one of your. She hit on camera right on the baseline.
I didn't see that.
Do you have a relationship with her, or just?
Not really much, but I'm a big fan for sure. I watch a lot of games. Definitely her hooping it's great to watch. So for sure, I gotta go on one game to see her.
Watch that reaction carefully. Luka Dončić just got asked about Caitlin Clark being courtside at his game, and his response tells you everything about where she stands in basketball right now. Not women's basketball. Basketball. The Dallas Mavericks superstar, fresh off a 45-point triple-double performance, says he's a big fan who watches her games regularly and wants to fly back to the United States specifically to see her play in person. Let that sink in for a second. This is an NBA MVP candidate going out of his way to praise a WNBA player during his own post-game interview. When's the last time you saw that happen? When's the last time an elite NBA player voluntarily brought up the WNBA without being prompted, without it being a corporate obligation, without reading from a script? The answer is almost never, but Caitlin Clark has changed that equation entirely.
Open this up! Obviously, I've done this before, okay?
Caitlin Clark, the photographer.
No! I didn't even notice that! Oh, that's so cute! Open this up!
All right, let's take a look, man. There was a clip with LeBron James that we got to get to when he was crashing out on the refs and she was taking photos. That was pretty funny.
Now here's where it gets interesting. Caitlin wasn't at that Pacers-Lakers game as a fan. She was working. The Indiana Fever's franchise player spent her offseason taking on a new role as a credentialed photographer, shooting courtside for NBA games in Indianapolis, and the broadcast announcers couldn't help themselves. They had to point her out, had to talk about her, had to acknowledge that the face of the WNBA was in the building. That's the Caitlin Clark effect in action. She doesn't even have to be playing basketball to dominate the conversation. She's courtside with a camera, and suddenly the NBA broadcast is talking about the WNBA. LeBron James is crashing out on the refs right in front of her, creating what became one of the most viral photos of the night. The NBA announcers are calling her the face of women's basketball, without hesitation, without debate, without qualification. But here's what makes this moment particularly significant. This happened during the WNBA offseason. No games being played, no highlights to show, no stats to debate. Just Caitlin Clark existing in a basketball space, and the entire sport gravitates toward her.
And off the court.
I truly think this is just the beginning. I think this is going to help a lot of things take off. And like I said, I don't think it's just women's sports. I think it's the way women are valued across the world and what we can bring to the table.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Clark, and we're at Uber's Game Changers event.
When I'm working on my game and I'm in the gym with my teammates or outside of practice, I know I've put the time in. I mean, there's certainly been points in my career where I've doubted myself. Take the hits as they come and you figure it out and you rely on the people around you. That's why I love basketball. It's a team sport. Sometimes you think it's always going to be like an adult figure or somebody that kind of had a position of authority over you. But for me, I felt like it was a lot of the teammates and the captains that I had. You want to be comfortable with the people you're surrounding yourself with. Know there's people you can trust, get you from point A to point B, and just be confident in that.
And she's not just taking photos and showing up at games. Caitlin spent part of her offseason as a featured speaker at Uber's Game Changers event, talking about how women are changing sports and how she views her role in that transformation. Listen to how she frames this moment. She's not talking about personal achievement or individual accolades. She's talking about systemic change, about how women are valued across the world, about using basketball as a platform for something bigger. That's a level of perspective you don't usually see from someone in their early 20s who just finished their rookie season. Most players that age are focused on their next contract, their next endorsement deal, their next highlight. Caitlin's thinking about generational impact. She's thinking about opening doors for women who haven't even started playing basketball yet. And the market is responding. Major corporations aren't just throwing endorsement money at her because she's popular. They're investing in her because she represents a fundamental shift in how women's sports are perceived and consumed. When Uber brings you in as a keynote speaker, when NBA superstars name drop you in their interviews, When league broadcasts can't stop talking about you even when you're not playing, that's not hype. That's cultural penetration.
Way, man, it is time to start cooking, people. It's time for Caitlin Clark to, start stirring the pot on some of these people. And that's just what it is, man. We got the expansion draft coming up. Okay, the Fever have to protect some players. They are at risk of losing some major key pieces. What are they going to do with Kelsey Mitchell? What's going to happen with Lexi Hall? Sophie Cunningham in free agency. Are they going to be able to bring everyone back? What happens? Are they going to protect the rookie Michaela Timpson? Or are they going to leave her out there to be picked up in the expansion draft? And she 100% will get picked up by Toronto or Portland if she is not protected in the expansion draft. These are all very, very interesting things we've got to see.
But all of this off-season success, all these speaking engagements and photography gigs and corporate partnerships, they're about to take a back seat because the WNBA expansion draft is coming and the Indiana Fever have some brutal decisions to make. By Sunday, every team has to submit their list of 5 protected players, just 5. And the Fever have way more than 5 players worth protecting. Start with the obvious one. Kelsey Mitchell is an unrestricted free agent coming off the best season of her career. She averaged 19.2 points per game, shot 40.2% from 3, and was Caitlin's primary scoring partner all season long. That pick-and-roll chemistry they developed in the second half of the season was devastating. Teams couldn't stop it. You protect Kelsey Mitchell, that's not even a debate. Lexi Hall? She's also hitting free agency, and after the breakout playoff performance she had, her value just skyrocketed. She went from role player to legitimate starter, proving she can defend at an elite level and knock down corner threes at a high percentage. Someone's going to pay her. The question is whether Indiana can afford to match. Then you've got the rookie situation. Michaela Timpson showed flashes during her limited minutes, enough to make you think she could develop into a rotation piece. But here's the problem. If the Fever don't protect her in the expansion draft, Toronto or Portland will absolutely grab her. Young talent with upside is exactly what expansion teams target. You can't let a potential future contributor walk for nothing. And we haven't even mentioned Aaliyah Boston, who's obviously protected, or the coaching staff decisions, or the fact that under the new CBA, salaries are about to jump significantly, which means the Fever's budget calculations just got way more complicated.
But everything is going to kick off with this expansion draft. Here it says the new teams will pick among players left unprotected by their current WNBA clubs, with no more than 1 player per existing team getting chosen. Teams have until Sunday to submit a list of 5 protected players. Okay, teams can protect players that had rights to on the final day of the 2025 regular season. Okay, any player who has 5 or more years of service after the 2025 season must be put on the roster list as an unrestricted free agent or included on the
Here's what the expansion draft rules actually say. Toronto and Portland can each select 1 player from the unprotected lists, with no more than 1 player per existing team getting chosen. Teams can protect anyone they had rights to on the final day of the 2025 regular season. But there's a catch. Any player with 5 or more years of service after the 2025 season must either be put on the protected list, designated as an unrestricted free agent, or included on the unprotected list. That rule is specifically designed to prevent teams from hoarding veteran talent and forcing expansion teams to build with only young, unproven players. It creates real consequences. You can't just protect your entire starting 5 and leave expansion teams with scraps. You have to make actual sacrifices. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Toronto and Portland can each select 1 player who's a potential unrestricted free agent, and then they get to negotiate a supermax contract with that player. Under the new CBA, that supermax could be worth up to $1.4 million. That's real money. That's life-changing money for WNBA players who've been underpaid for years. So if you're Kelsey Mitchell and you're hitting free agency, and Toronto offers you a supermax deal to be the face of their expansion franchise, to be the #1 option, to build a team around you, that's a legitimate decision you have to consider. Even if you love playing with Caitlin Clark, even if you love the Fever organization, even if Indianapolis feels like home. Because $1.4 million versus whatever Indiana can offer under their salary cap constraints, That's not a small gap.
Protected list, only 2 veteran players, Lexi Brown and Kaylani Browns, had contracts that didn't expire last season. They definitely missing out on all this new money. Lexi Brown, Kaylani Brown, y'all still getting paid under the old CBA, bro. That's rough. That is rough, okay? Here it says Toronto and Portland each may select one player who's a potential unrestricted free agent. The Tempo and Fire would then be allowed to negotiate a supermax contract with those players, which could be worth up to $1.4 million under the new CBA. So there is much to look forward to. Things are about to get moving very, very quickly here in the coming days.
And this is all happening right now, not in a few months, not next season. The protected list are due Sunday. That's days away. The expansion draft is imminent, and every single decision the Fever make in the next 72 hours will directly impact whether they can build on the momentum Caitlin Clark created during her rookie year, or whether they have to rebuild their supporting cast from scratch. Think about the pressure on that front office right now. You just had the most successful season in franchise history. You went from league doormat to playoff team. You sold out arenas. You broke attendance records. You became must-see television. And now you have to potentially lose key contributors because of expansion draft rules you can't control. The only silver lining? 2 veteran players, Lexi Brown and Kaya Stokes, have contracts that didn't expire last season, which means they're locked in regardless of what happens with free agency or the expansion draft. But those contracts were signed under the old CBA, which means they're getting paid significantly less than what the market would bear under the new salary structure. That's rough for them personally, but it gives Indiana some roster stability at a time when everything else feels uncertain.
Things are about to start moving. I can't wait. I'm excited for all of this to kick off, man. And it starts with these teams putting out their protected list of players here very soon. Get down in the comments and let me know what you guys think. This is Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share.
So here's where we are. Caitlin Clark just spent her offseason dominating conversations without playing a single game. Luka Dončić is flying across the world to watch her. LeBron James is creating viral moments with her courtside. Major corporations are building campaigns around her, and now the team she plays for has to navigate the most consequential roster decisions they've faced in franchise history, all while trying to keep the championship window open that she just kicked down the door on. The expansion draft is going to reshape the WNBA landscape. Some teams are going to lose valuable players. Some fan bases are going to be furious, and the Fever are right in the middle of it, trying to protect a core that took them from irrelevance to relevance in one season. What happens next matters. Who they protect matters. Who they lose matters. Because Caitlin Clark isn't going to be patient with a rebuild. She didn't come to the WNBA to waste years of her prime waiting for the front office to figure things out. She came to win championships, and if the Fever can't surround her with the talent necessary to compete at the highest level, that's going to create tension. That's going to create questions. That's going to create exactly the kind of drama that defines professional sports. The takeover continues. The stakes just got higher, and we're about to find out if Indiana's front office is capable of managing the moment, or if they're going to fumble the greatest opportunity in franchise history. Drop a comment and let me know who you think the Fever should protect, who they can afford to lose, and whether Kelsey Mitchell is going to be back in Indianapolis next season. Because this decision is coming fast, and there's no room for error.